Actually, we also have to talk about mental factors. So we have 7 universal: Phassa, contact; Vedana, feeling; Sanya, perception; Chetana, volition; also Ekagata, one-pointedness; Judendriya, life faculty; and also Manasikara, intention. So these are called 7 universal. They will arise together with any kind of chitta, any kind of consciousness. But among the 7 or 6 sceneries or 6 miscellaneous, so if there's a somanasa, piti, rapture, or joy will arise. If no somanasa, okay, we can summarize feeling in agusala: somanasa, pleasant; ubekha, equanimity; and domanasa, displeasure or unpleasant. So when somanasa arises, piti will arise. When neutral feeling arises, no more piti. Among the 7 sceneries, 6 sceneries, 7 miscellaneous. Similarly, when dosa arises, or the displeasure, unpleasant feeling, at the time, piti may not arise. It's very clear when we are angry, we cannot feel happy, right? When we are worried, anxiety, we cannot feel happy. When we have fear, we cannot feel happy. That's why piti may not arise. Only somanasa feeling will associate with piti. If other feeling, piti will not arise. This is a theory. Now this is a ditthi, wrong view. So we also have ditthikata samyutta, ditthikata vibhyutta, association and dissociation, both. Here, ditthikata samyutta associated with wrong view among the unwholesome mental state, then there will be ditti, cetasika. So that means when dosa arises, we don't have ditthikata samyutta. That's why ditti will not arise. Similarly, when moha arises, no ditthikata samyutta. That's why ditti will not arise together with dosa or moha. Only with lobha we have ditti. Now here we have a prompt or prompted. Why we have prompted? So we have already mentioned, if the consciousness is unprompted, that means we do everything willingly, naturally, without any encouragement, without any motivation. But now when we have prompted, that means somebody must encourage us or force us, or we ourselves must encourage. We have already mentioned before, sometimes we have to read the books for motivation, then we will watch some documentary or some inspirational story, maybe inspirational story or movie or that kind of things, right? Then we may have more motivation. This is called prompt. So here we can also understand, in the lobha mula citta, there's also prompt. Then dosa mula citta also prompt. But in moha mula citta, no prompt. It doesn't mention unprompt. That is why whenever there is a prompted satsankharika, there are 2 mental factors, tina and mita. These 2 will arise. So the main thing is, if there's a no prompt or unprompted, no tina mita. So these are the theory we can understand when we are practicing, when we are trying to learn association. Then we also have 4 universal unwholesome. That is moha, delusion; ahirika, moral shamelessness; Anuttapa, moral fearlessness. Uddhacca, restlessness. So these four are called unwholesome universal. Okay, here one more thing. If there's a no deity, then there also can be mana. Sometimes without mana also is possible. Okay, altogether we have 27 mental factors that will arise together with all 12 types of unwholesome consciousness. So here I list out all the unwholesome states. 7, you can calculate: Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Cetana, Ekaggata, Jivindriya, Manasikara. 6 miscellaneous: Vitakka, Vichara, Adhimokha, Viriya, Piti, Chanda. 14 unwholesome: Moha, Ahirika, Anuttapa, Uddhacca. These four will arise together. Lobha, only in Lobha will associate. Ditthi, in Lobha Mula Citta also. Mana also in Lobha Mula Citta. Dosa, Issa, Machariya, Kukucca. These four are called Dosa Guru. Tina, Mita, Vicikicca. Vicikicca can be only in Moha Mula Citta. So these are the mental factors that will arise together with unwholesome consciousnesses. As I have mentioned the theory, Piti will make difference according to the feeling. Ditthi will make difference according to association. Tina, Mita will make difference, print or unprinted. These are basic theory. Okay, now we should move one by one. Okay, Samanasa, Ditthikata, Samyutta, unprinted. Okay, since we have already talked about unprinted, then there will be different conditions, no more Tina, Mita, right? So since we have already mentioned Samanasa, we can also understand all 6 miscellanea will arise together. Okay, now here I should introduce all the mental factors one by one that associate with the first Lobha Mula Citta. It will take time, right, to calculate one by one. Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Cetana, Ekaggata, Jivindriya, Manasikara, Vitakka, Vichara, Adhimokha, Viriya, Piti, Chanda, Moha, Ahirika, Anuttapa, Uddhacca, Lobha, Ditthi. This is a repetition Phassa, right? So altogether there will be 19. So we can also understand all the consciousness, all the mental factors that arise together with Samanasas, Ditthikata, Samyutta, unprinted, the first Lobha Mula Citta. And now we have the second consciousness, Samanasa Sahagata, or Ditthikata, printed. So since it mentioned as a printed, there will be 2 additional mental factors, Tina, Mita. So we can also understand all the mental factors one after another. So maybe we will calculate one by one, right? Now get ready. Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Cetana, Ekaggata, Jivindriya, Manasikara. 7. Vitakka, Vichara, Adhimokha, Viriya, Piti, Chanda. 6. Moha, Ahirika, Anuttapa, Uddhacca, Lobha, Ditthi, Tina, Mita. These are the associated mental factors that arise together with second Lobha Mula Citta. Then I will open this one, right? You can keep calculating. You will get confused also, right? Okay. The main thing is that the first two are Ditthi Gata Samyutta. That's why Ditthi will associate. Then, when we go to the next one, Ditthi Gata Vibhuta, minus Ditthi. That means Ditthi will not associate. If there's a Ditthi Gata Vibhuta, the Mana can associate. Sometimes without Mana also, Lobha can arise. So in Ditthi Gata Vibhuta, okay, we can also understand two different ways, right? Together with Mana, without Mana. But when we are going to calculate, we should calculate together with Mana also. It will be easier for calculation. So here I also have already noted down all the things, one after another. Okay, if we summarize, there will be 7 universal. After that, 6 miscellaneous. After that, we have 4 unwholesome universals. After 4 unwholesome universals, we have Lobha, Mana, only 2, right? But these are called, these were associated with Somanasa, Dikta Vibhuta, unprompted. Okay, now we have to move the next one. Somanasa, Ditthi Gata Vibhuta, also unprompted. Okay, now we are talking about only 4 feelings. Among these 4, we also say only Somanasa, right? Pleasant feeling. That's why piti will arise all the time. We can also say 6 miscellaneous or 6 sundries there. So Ditthi Gata Vibhuta, there are no Ditthi, there will be Mana. So we can also understand the same as before. Only 2 things will be different. This is it, Tinamita. They will associate here, right? So we can say 7 universals. We also have 6 miscellaneous or 6 sundries. After that, 4 unwholesome universals. So we talk about Lobha, there will be Lobha, Dikta Vibhuta, there will be Mana. After that, Tinamita. These were associated with the 4th Lobha Mula Citta. Okay, now we have to move Ubekha, Ditthi Gata Samyutta, unprompted. Since we have already talked about Ubekha, no more piti. Now piti will be excluded. So Ditthi will be as usual. As unprompted, no more no Tinamita, right? So if we summarize in this association, we can also understand there are 7 universals that arise together with that's Lobha Mula Citta. After that, among the 6 sundries, the no piti, there were only 5. After that, we have 4 unwholesome universals. Since the Lobha, there will be Lobha, also Ditthi. These are the mental factors that arise together with Ubekha, Ditthi Gata Samyutta, unprompted. Then we have the next one. Ubekha, Ditthi Gata Samyutta, prompted. Okay, now. Prompted, 2 more additional, Tinamita. All other things will be the same. Okay, now. We can also say 7 universals. So 6 among the 5 sundries without piti. Then 4 unwholesome universals. Since it's Lobha and Ditthi, also because unprompted Tinamita. Altogether, there will be 18, or sorry, there will be 20 Chitta there, right? Then we have to move the next one. Ubhakasagata, Ditigata Vibhyuta, unprompted. So since there's no deity, it will be mana again. So unprompted, it will be easier to calculate. So 7 universals. After that, among these 6 sundries, without piti, there will be only 5. So 4 unwholesome universals. After that, there will be lobha, there will be mana. That's all. This is it. The mental factors and the associated consciousness. Now, okay, the last one, among the 8. Ubhakasagata, Ditigata Vibhyuta, Asankarika. Prompted. Sasankarika prompted. So Ubhaka minus piti, Ditigata Vibhyuta, it will be mana, right? Because it does not associate with diti, it will be mana. Then prompted, it will be tinamida. Okay, here, the associated mental factors. So you can keep calculating all the things, right? Maybe next time action makes all the animation slower, maybe, right? You can calculate easily. But today, whole day, I'm very in a hurry, I have to do everything. Okay, these are Lobha Mula Citta, their association. If we summarize, in all of our Mula Citta, we can say 7 universals, also 6 miscellaneous or 6 sundries. After that, 4 unwholesome universals, lobha, ditti, mana, tina, mita. Only these will arise together with a lobha mula citta. So this is the first part of akusala. Every day, when we have a wholesome mind, we have to calculate, we have to check which mental factor is strongest. Of course, phassa, vedana, sanya, right? Sometimes it's obvious, right? For example, sometimes happiness. When we are greedy also, we can feel happy a lot, right? At the time, feeling is very predominant. Pity also can be very predominant. Sometimes wrong views are not very dominant. This also can happen. So, I have already mentioned before, the 7 universals can be wholesome or unwholesome both. Again, among these 6 miscellaneous, all of them can be both wholesome or unwholesome. So here in the case of Lobha Mula Citta, only piti will make them different. For all other mental factors will arise together all the time. So for about unwholesome mental factors, we haven't talked about dosa group. That is why when we have dosa, I have already mentioned no piti. Okay, now we should start, right? Dosa Mula Citta. So I make a little bit red color because dosa resemble red color, right? Right? There's a precaution, right? Right? There's a warning, right? Warning, dosa. So you can also imagine dominasa, displeasure, unpleasant feeling. Also patika, holding grudge or harboring grudge. We can also understand aversion. So whenever dosa arises, it becomes very gross. Also, it associates with aversion. It also can be unprompted, right? We can get angry easily. So when dosa arises, we can also understand a few things here. we have 4 dosa mental factors. The one is Isa. The dosa jealousy also, right? Dosa. This is one of the mental factors. Isa, jealousy. So that means when we jealous or maybe we cannot see somebody's happiness or success, then in this kind of case, this also unpleasant feeling. Dosa arises. Matsuriya, stinginess or possessiveness. Actually, we don't want to share our property. Then, if somebody touch our property, we will get angry. Right? This is the nature of the people. Right? If somebody touch your telephone, how do you feel? Right? Then people get angry, right? When people touch their telephone. So now if they hide their telephone, it will be more serious. Anyway, the main thing is this material also, dosa group. The last one is kukucha, remorse or regrets. So when we have kukucha, we can also say repentance, right? This also unpleasant mind. But since they have a different object, there can be different condition. It doesn't mean all the 4 arise together. For example, dosa will arise all the time. Then we may have dosa and isa together. 2 can arise. So the isa will take the object of other belonging, other people's success, other people's achievement. Then that's why different objects. Material will take our own belonging. That's why isa and material cannot arise together. But dosa and isa, dosa and material can arise together. Similarly, kukucha. Kukucha also take what we have done something wrong in the past, or we miss some opportunity in the past, or we neglect our duties, our responsibilities, then we may regret. So kukucha also taking past action or past negligence as object. That is why this one will arise together with dosa. Okay, if we say again, dosa isa, dosa material, dosa kukucha. They arise together. So since we have already mentioned all other associated mental factors here, we don't need to talk about many other things here. Okay, now here we will introduce all the things one by one. So the first one is we have to understand 7 universals. After 7 universals, then we have to decide, or we have to know many other things, right? Okay, now we will start one by one. 7, we can call it phassa, vedana, sanya, jirana, ekagata, jivitindriya, manasikara. 5. Miscellaneous, vadaka, vichara, atimokha, viriya, chanda, aka agusala, moha, ahirika, anuddhappa, udajja, dosa, isa, matsuriya, kukucha. So these will arise together with the first dosa mula citta. It doesn't mean they all can arise at the same time. I have already mentioned dosa isa, dosa matsuriya, dosa kukucha will arise. Right? All dosa group cannot arise at the same time because taking different objects. So we have second dosa mula citta, domanassa, paticca, prompted. Okay, prompted means if we are lazy or sometimes our minds are not very active, then dosa can arise easily, right? But somebody encourage or maybe trigger something, then we get angry. Actually, I've already mentioned before, right? For example, somebody is hitting your back frequently or hitting your head or your shoulder, right? Then actually you are okay. You have very strong kanti, very strong patience. But somebody say, why you are so patient? This is like insulting, for example, right? Naturally you don't get angry, but somebody forces you to get angry. Otherwise we can say prompt. So as usual, when we say prompt, this also Tinamita, short and topo. So that means mentally we are not very active. This is also one thing. Bodily also we are not very active. This is called Tinamita. Actually, love also the same, right? Sometimes we are not very active. Mind is not that much strong. If we are active, it becomes very strong. Mind also strong, body also strong. So this is also dosa mula citta. So I have already mentioned 9 grounds of dosa, right? Before. So whenever dosa arises, we're gonna feel happy. Piti will not associate. Already mentioned before, right? So also here, paticca samyutta associated with aversion or grudge. Okay, sometimes, like a mind is dosa become very strong. I have already mentioned the nature of dosa, right? When dosa become very strong, it will make our inner wisdom blind. Then sometimes we may have us grudge, or we may hold grudge against somebody. Then in this kind of case, it's very serious dosa. So even we say grudge, sometimes naturally we are okay, but somebody force, right? Do hold grudge. Why you are so patient? Sometimes we already forgotten something in the past. Somebody come and talk about the past. Do you know in the past that person insulted you like this, that person insulted you like this? You get new anger, right? How many times do you remember your past memory? Many bad things of the past. Somebody disturbed, something like that, right? So okay, the main thing is, in the case of prompted, naturally we are okay, but somebody reveal many problems of the past or all the possibility in the future, right? Then that kind of thing make us unhappy. Then it also can be considered as prompted. Okay, now we also can understand all the associated mental factors together with dosa mula citta. So 7 universals, as usual, we have already mentioned. Among the 6 sundries, no more piti. Then we have agusala, unwholesome universals. Also we have 4 dosa groups after the Tinamita. That we can understand, right? One by one, all the things. Okay, now here we can also calculate one after another. This is it. Now we are going to start with 7 universal, right? One by one. Okay, now get ready to calculate one by one, right? Now 7 we will start. 7 universal: Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Cetana, Ekagata, Jitindriya, Manasikara. Then 5 sundry: Vitakka, Vichara, Atimokha, Viriya, Chanda, no piti, right? 10 unwholesome, moha, ahirika, anuttapa, Odija, these are unwholesome universals. Dosa group, dosa, isa, machariya, kokucha, these are dosa group. Tina, Mida, because printed Tina Mida arise. So these are the mental factors that are together with dosa. Okay, now we have to, this one I didn't make animation. Okay, maybe I should do now. Otherwise, it will be very messy, right? So that means when we are going to talk about Moha Mula, we also have to remember two different Moha Mula Citta. So you also have already known the nature of Moha. Right? That means when Moha arises, we are blind. Right? So Moha is a kind of blindness. We also have already mentioned many things about Moha, not knowing Four Noble Truths, past lives, future lives, for past and future lives, dependent origination. If we cannot know all these things, this is called Moha, delusion. So here another thing is plus Vijikicha, doubt. So here we have to elaborate a few more things about Vijikicha. Vijikicha means indecision, or skepticism, or doubt. That means if we cannot make very clear decision, it's Vijikicha. Vijikicha is like standing on the crossroad. We don't know where to go. This is the nature of Vijikicha. Then, if there's a Vijikicha, among the mental factors we have a determination or decision, in Bali, Adhimokkha. So when Vijikicha arises, Adhimokkha cannot arise. Then again, Upekkha, Piti cannot arise again. Right? Then not only that, actually, Chanda also desire. Whenever we have a moha, we don't have desire. Whether we are willing or unwilling, moha will arise. Right? It does not come from our wish. We wish or we don't wish, it will arise. Then, among the unwholesome mental factors, we have unwholesome universals, as usual we have already mentioned before. Then, since this is not lower group, then lower ditthi, mana cannot arise together with moha mula citta. So this is also not dosa. Dosa is samachariya cannot arise together. But what about Tina Mita? It doesn't mention pro or empty here. It doesn't mention that they will not arise. But Vijikicha, Cetasika will arise together with this consciousness. So when we are going to calculate all the mental factors here, actually it will be only 15 Cetasika. Not many. Right? So very easy to calculate. Okay, now we will start from the very beginning. Okay? So the first one, 7 universal. Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Cetana, Ekaggata, Judindriya, Manasikara. These are 7 universal. 3 miscellaneous. Vidaka, Vichara, Viriya. 5 akusala. Moha, Ahirika, Anuttappa, Uddaca, Vicikicca. These 15 will arise together with Uddaca Sagata, Ubeka Sagata, Vicikicca. So, in the case of Mohamula, we have very less mental fetters. You can so imagine, right? When we talk about Dosa Mula Chitta, many mental fetters. When we talk about Lower Mula Chitta, also many mental fetters. When we talk about Mohamula Chitta, very limited, very little mental fetters that can rise together with Mohamula Chitta. Okay, now we have to continue something about Uddaca, Ubeka Sagata, Uddaca. Associating with Uddaca, right? One more thing here. Since it's Uddaca, then we don't have doubt, right? This is only restlessness. We don't have doubt. That is why Timaka will associate with it. So as usual, we have Ubeka. That is why no beauty. So 7 universal will be as usual. Then again, we have among the 12 Agusala Chitasika, we have very limited socks. That's the 4 Ahosan universal. Then we don't have many other things. That's all. Okay, now we should go and calculate one by one, right? So this is only maybe a few other we can start from 7. Okay, now we can start 7 miscellaneous. So 7 universal. Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Ekakata, Jvidindriya, Manasikara. The 4 miscellaneous. Vitakka, Vichara, Adhimokha, Viriya, the 4, Moha, Ahirika, Anuttappa, Uddaca. So only 15 mental fetters will arrive together with Ubeka Uddaca. These are association of Mohamula Chitta. Okay, so today we just talk about Agusala Chitta and associated mental fetters. That's why when we are going to check our daily life, we also have to know which Chitta arises most of the time. Of course, when you are meditating, you can know restlessness is very obvious, right? Or just very obvious. Sometimes when you investigate too much, or if you are so curious about meditation subject, then you may have doubt, Vicikicca. It will become very obvious among the Mohamula Chitta. Okay, Dosa Mula Chitta. How many Dosa Mula Chitta do you arise? Mostly caused by other people. Right? When you are meditating, Dosa will arise caused by other people, right? Community. See, when we are living in the group, this is the normal. Right? Okay, these are like we say the Dosa Mula Chitta, right? That means we already mentioned undesirable object. Or cause Dosa Mula Chitta. So mostly Sasankarika printed will be more obvious for many meditators here, right? Unprinted, maybe very little, maybe. When you recall your past, maybe. Right? Mostly printed, right? Among the lova also, how many lova chitta do you arise? Happiness, little. When do you have lova mula chitta? The first lova mula chitta? Maybe very limited, right? Second lova mula chitta also very limited, maybe. Then sometimes also both of them also can arise easily. So how many desirable objects do you have in one day? Probably only in Abhidhamma, right? Greek can arise only in Abhidhamma. Mostly for other meditators, right? Because when you see, this is a good food, right? This is Nepalese style, this is Vietnamese style, this is Myanmar style, this is international style, right? So if we see favorite food, maybe greed may arise, happiness will arise, right? So for about Dithikata Samyutta, we are not sure, but Dithikata Vibhuddha will be possible mostly. Okay, sometimes no ditthi, but we have mana also, right? Mana also can arise. Or only we can have this kind of food. Say only I can wear this kind of clothes. Right? For bhikkhu, actually clothes is normal. We don't need to think about clothes too much. The same color, the same brand. But for lay person, you may have many different quality of clothes, right? You can be proud of your clothes. Then there will be lobha mana. Okay, here we should, if we summarize all the mental factors, all the group together, if we summarize lobha, we can say lobha ditthi, lobha mana. Only two groups, right? So lobha and ditthi can rise together, lobha and mana also can rise together. So these two will be multiplying by with piti, without piti. Sometimes no join, right? Also can be multiplying by with chinamita, without chinamita. This is a lobha mula citta. For about dosa mula citta, we have many. I have already summarized before. Dosa alone also can rise. This is one thing. Dosa isa, dosa machriya, dosa kukucha, altogether 4 different conditions. So if one dosa alone arises, it also can be prompted or unprompted. Similarly, dosa isa also can be prompted or unprompted. Then tinamita, without tinamita, right? Then dosa machriya, prompted or unprompted. Then tinamita, without tinamita. Then again, dosa kukucha, prompted and unprompted. This can arise in our daily life. So we have to check what kind of mental factors arise together in our daily life. Now, when we are learning all the information here, but it's not very important, for you now, not very useful. Later, when you are going to practice Nama-rupa practicing, Nama-rupa discernment, it will be useful. If what about Moha group, it's very easy because we are only a few things, right? Udicca and Vicikicca, only 2 groups. These are the nature of akusala citta and cetasika. Okay, I have already mentioned before, in the very beginning of mental factors, consciousness and mental factor will arise together, also perish together. They will take the same object. Also, they will arise depending on the same base. This is the nature of mentality, nama. Okay, one more thing here. When we say citta, it's only the 80-90 citta or 121 citta. But when we say nama, it will cover all the citta and cetasika, consciousness and mental factors. They are called nama. So now we are talking about nama. This citta will associate with this cetasika. All these combinations are called nama. So Nama will arise as a groove. So if we can analyze all the grouping, for example, when we are discerning our daily life, Nama Rupa in our daily life, we can know Lobha will arise. At the time, we can also know what kind of Lobha arise, how many Chitta Jesika arise. Then we can know all the groups that arise together. Then we may have very strong perceptions of anatta, non-self. So that means they will arise naturally, out of our control. We cannot do anything. When the time ripens, they will arise together. That is why we also need to know, according to Pali we call Samuha Gana, the compactness of synthesis or synthetic compactness. Right? The grouping arising as a group, this is called Samuha Gana. If we can break down this kind of compactness, the perceptions of anatta become obvious, stronger. So sometimes people also ask, why do we have to know many nama? Why we have to know many nama arising together? To break down compactness, we need to know nama in detail. If we can know in detail, we can break down compactness, we may have stronger perceptions of anatta. This is the purpose of learning, grouping all the mentalities. Okay, so today we will stop here, right? Then, in brief, we have already talked about Agusala, Chitta, and Jirasika. But tomorrow we will continue talking about Ahetuka, rootless consciousnesses. If I have a time, I will continue use beautiful consciousness also. Right? Then, maybe tonight I have to send some file to translate again, to check spelling again. Right? Anyway, then if we can know what kind of mentality we have every day, then we can practice better, we can balance our life better. If we are so negligent, we cannot know what's happening, we cannot change ourselves. So we also need self-awareness, right? So by practicing Buddha teaching, may you all be able to practice three trainings, may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering. Okay then, any?
Bandami Sayadaw, when we see bad dreams, can it be also because of our defilements? Bad dreams.
Dream. Okay, in the case of dream, there can be many reasons. Right? Sometimes because of something unbalanced in your body, you may have bad dream. That's also possible. Another thing is because of attachment to something. For example, all day you think about ghosts, right? Then at night you may have dream about ghost, right? Because you think about ghosts all day, right? You scare because of that kind of worry, whole day thinking, you have that kind of bad dream, right? Another thing is maybe encouraged by some deva also cause the dream. For example, right? Mahamaya, how the dream, right? Before Bodhisattva conceived. Then you can also understand at the time, Deva gave her dream. She sees many things, right? This is the blind dream, the blind Deva. So okay, there can be many other conditions also, right?
Sayadaw, there is a question on Zoom. If we attain Sotapanna, then the remaining life, our mind still Sotapanna mind, is it?
Next slide, me.
I mean, in the remaining life.
Remaining life, sure.
Yes.
He will continue as a Sotapanna, sure.
Nếu mà
Okay.
Cô con muốn hỏi là khi mà tâm tham có tà kiến thì phải có sở hữu tà kiến đi kèm thì cũng dễ hiểu, nhưng mà tại sao khi mà tâm ly tà thì phải có tâm tham đi với ngã mạn à?
So, she asked this: if the loba chitta with dithi, in the cetasika dithi, sambayutta is easy to understand, but vipayutta dithi, vipayutta mana must arrive. Then, why is it?
Actually, Vipayutta also without mana can arise. Vipayutta can be with mana, without mana, both can be. Okay? The mana and entity cannot arise together because different object, right? Right? When we talk about DT, then we don't believe in karma, that kind of things, right? When we talk about mana, it depends on our achievement or our qualification. That's why Loba and DT and mana cannot arise together.
Sayadaw, may I ask, is the fourfold analytical knowledge, Jatupati Sambhidanyana, attainable only by Arahant, or can other noble ones, Aryas, also attain it?
Actually, okay, in this case, even Venerable Ananda had attained analytical knowledges. That is why we can understand Sotapanna also can attain analytical knowledges. Of course, for Arhat is clearer, right? Okay, any other thing? Or Chinese question? Chinese question?
Sayadaw, I cannot see any Chinese question here in my Zoom.
Oh,
I'm not sure elsewhere have or not.
okay.
Sayadaw, that is not a question.
Another question, okay. No question. Okay.
Just a reply to the yogi.
Okay.
The English question, Sayadaw. For a faithful and knowledgeable Buddhist, is it possible that Dithi, Vipayutta, Loba, Mula to arise? If so, can Bhante give some example? Thank you.
Yeah, what about Buddhist?
Is it possible that Ditthi Vipayutta Loba Mula to arise?
Okay, it's possible, right? Sometimes, okay, in the case of the food, for example, right? You may like your own food, your traditional food, for example. In this kind of case, you can be greedy, but you don't have a wrong view. You don't think about permanent or impermanent or that kind of things, right? Just normal, loba. Similarly, when you talk about clothes also, you may have your traditional clothes or your favorite clothes, that kind of things, then also can be the same. Right? It will be data we would also.
So before the Dhamma Talk started, one of the Nepalese yogi asked a question.
Okay.
So he wanted to know how can he, the various ways to remove background thoughts.
Actually, if you know many ways also, you will get confused also, right? Mostly I recommend like a chanting is easier. Chanting is stronger than other recollection. Right? It doesn't mean you have to chant full sutta. Maybe if you can chant only one stanza also okay. I think everybody know this stanza, right? Sabba papa sa akaranam kusala subha sambara sajida briyodabanan idam buddhana sasanam. I think many people know that stanza, right? Chant the one slowly, understanding the meaning. It will be easier to remove background thoughts. If you can remove background thoughts, come back to main object, breathing. It's easier.
Sarah, there's a question on Zoom. Few days ago, Sarah answered a question regarding unable to realize the breath. Sarah said that there would be some kinds of sensations like itchy or crawling insects. In my case, I can only feel the breath at the very beginning of the sitting. Then the bright light comes and I cannot feel any sense of the breath at the watching area. Even when the light became a little bit weaker, I still could not feel the breath. I checked and found that I was fully awake and not falling into bhavanga. So I waited for breath. The light is still there until the end of sitting, about 2 hours. Can Sarah give me some instruction, please? Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, in this kind of case, maybe sometime when you see the nimitta, that kind of thing also can happen. Okay, for example, sometime when you are focused on the breathing around nostril, the brightness around the nostril become very strong. Right? Then if brightness become very strong around your nostril, then you will get lost everything. Your mind will naturally go to the light around the nostril. In this case, okay, don't think about breathing anymore. Just keep focus on the brightness around the nostril. So, if you can feel breaths for some time, okay, you can also come back to the breathing.
Vandami Sayadaw. Bhavanga is a vipaka citta. It is caused by the past karma, and this past karma after ripen as the result means as vipaka citta, it will disappear. So, but in our whole life, there will be limitless, countless bhavanga mind arising. Does that mean that this karmic force is also countless?
I'm not quite sure, right? What's the question?
The question is Bhavanga Citta
I know
is
Ajita, okay.
due to past karma. That means the one karma produces Bhavanga Citta. So there are a lot of Bhavanga Citta. That means in the past there will be also a lot of karma.
Actually, we cannot say like that, right? For example, in the past, okay, for this life, we have Pradisandhi Citta, right? So the same reason, the same types of consciousness, they associate with the same number of mental factors will arise as a Bhavanga mind state, maybe among the mental process. Also, when we are falling asleep also, that consciousness will arise. It doesn't mean they are caused by many karma, right? Also, it can be the same karma. Okay? Okay, then? No more.
So one question in Zoom. Is the chanting of a stanza the same or different from, let's say, chanting in Thailand, Buddho Buddho, or Amitufo in Mahayana tradition? Please elaborate, sir.
Okay, in the case of chanting, I don't recommend like a Thai gacha or Mahayana gacha, Amitabha or Om Mani Padme Hum or anything, right? I don't recommend that kind of chanting. If we say it's stanza, then, okay, I already chanted Sabapavasa Akaranam like this, right? Similarly, you can also have many other stanzas in Dhammavada or in daily chant. You can use any of them. And not only that, actually, we also have many other chanting like Itipiso Bhagava Arahant Samma Sambuddho, like this, right? So that means you must also, if you can know the meaning, also chant slowly, reflecting the meaning, then you can remove background thoughts. For this purpose, I just recommend for chanting. Just for normal meditation, I don't recommend to chant. Okay, yeah?
So what is Chitta Vithi of Patisandhi moment?
Actually, should I show? Chitta Vitti of Patisandhi moment. If I have to show, okay, I can show. Right? Actually, it will be very heavy topic for meditators, right? Okay, here. Manasana Vitti. Okay, this is Chitta Vitti in the Jai moment. Okay, here I'm pointing, you can see the arrow, right? Okay, these are Chitta Vitti in near death moment. Okay, there can be many other types of mental process, but it will take very long time to explain. Okay, then. No more question. Okay. Now we can share merit, right? Etavadaja amehi sambadam bunya sambaram sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu Sabbe satta numodantu. Sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me nyatinam hotu. Sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatinam hotu. Sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatinam hotu. Sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idam me punyam. Asawakaya. Vaham hotu. Idam me punyam. Nibbanasa. Pacayo. Hotu. Mama punya bhagam. Sava satanam. Bhajemi. Te sabhe. Me samam. Punya bhagam. Lavantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.